At this year's E3 conference for Sony, The Last of Us Part 2's new trailer and gameplay trailer was shown, and it raised a lot of new questions for me. Where's Joel? What happened to Dina? And who was after Ellie? In this video, I'm going to discuss what I believe The Last of Us 2 will bring, what happened to Joel, and show any clues that may have been missed. Before we start, we must piece together all the trailers shown so far to understand what is happening. The Last of Us ended with Joel and Ellie heading back to Jackson County, where Tommy's settlement was. Ellie confronts Joel about what happened with the Fireflies, and as we all know, he lies to her. Joel swears to her that everything he told was true, and it ends with Ellie looking very reluctant to his answer, but she accepts it anyway. All Ellie wanted was to help save lives, because she couldn't even do that for the people she loved. And even when she never knew that the cure would cost her life, Joel had no right to take that away from her. But then again, this is what the apocalypse does to a person, isn't it? Save the ones you love, even if it's morally wrong or may hurt someone in the end. This now leaves us with The Last of Us Part 2. About 25 years after the cordyceps virus breakout, Ellie is now 19 years old while Joel is in his mid-50s. If my assumptions are correct and the description I found for the game on the wiki page is right, then Joel and Ellie are still in Jackson County within Tommy's settlement. This also means they have managed to make a home here for the last 4 to 5 years. This leaves us here to the new trailer at E3. We see Ellie at a dance, just watching Dina dance around, until a young man named Jesse comes up to her. Jesse talks about Ellie's old man, which means Joel is still alive at this point. He's either just being an asshole or has a high rank within the community if he's able to tell Jesse what to do. Then Ellie and Dina get to share a dance and kiss with one another. Googly eyes aside, Ellie mentions how everyone is staring at Dina, but in reality, they were actually staring at her. Dina mentions how it's possible they're just jealous of Ellie, but then Ellie says,
I'm just a girl, not a threat.
Dina tells her how she believes everyone should be terrified of Ellie, and this is where they share a kiss. Ellie, confused by this statement, and I believe the intention of the kiss as well, this sadly transitions into Ellie alone outside cutting someone open. As Ellie creeps around the men and women hunting and whistling around, which by the way totally reminds me of the saviors from The Walking Dead, Ellie witnesses people being hanged by them. These are the same raincoat people we saw in the previous teaser trailer, but I'll get to that very soon. The people end up spotting Ellie and she runs into a store, where she fights for her life against them. When she finally takes down the bald man with a large pickaxe, he says one thing to her.
This is a sacrifice, Lena.
Then Ellie executes him. It transitions back to Ellie and Dina at the dance, and she says one last thing to her.
He should be terrified.
So, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with Dina and the Jackson County settlement. Like all good things in the apocalypse, it can only be assumed that something terrible happened within the community. With Jesse already getting shit from Joel on the way he patrols at night, and the fact that this community seems to be doing very well, it would only be natural and expected for another group to attack to have what they have. From what I can gather, it must be these people with the raincoats. If they did attack, it is also assumed that Dina dies. We can see Dina wearing a bracelet on her right wrist, and when it transitions from the kiss to Ellie in the forest, she is now wearing that same bracelet. Knowing Ellie from the first game, she's impulsive, hot-headed, and stubborn, but she's also a fighter, and will fight for those she loves just like she did for Riley, Marlene, and Joel. Even if Dina and Ellie weren't in a romantic relationship with one another, it's still clear from the way she looks at her, that Ellie is in love with her and cares for her. But when you lose the one you love, you lose sight of the world. And this is exactly what is happening, Ellie's revenge for the death of her lover. This actually brings us to the very first reveal trailer where Ellie is in that house, singing Sean James Through the Valley. We see all the slaughtered and dead of possibly the raincoat people until Joel shows up and asks her,
What are you doing, kiddo? You really gonna go through with this?
Knowing how protective Joel is over her, this means that Ellie probably just snuck out or left and went after these people on her own. Now let's talk about Joel. From the new E3 trailer, I got the sense that Ellie and Joel may have some friction between them. Now I'm not saying Ellie hates Joel, but I get the feeling that she figured out that Joel lied to her all those years ago. When Jesse was talking to her about Joel's complaining, she seemed so aloof about the conversation. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but knowing how Ellie acts and is outspoken about everything, you'd think she would jokingly call Joel an asshole or say something like, he's right, you know? It's also probably the reason why we didn't really see them together in the new trailer. Even in the abandoned house, they seem so distant from one another. If Joel's secret about the fireflies is out, then it must mean Ellie must feel some sort of guilt over her not being able to be the cure they need to save everyone from the outbreak. Furthering that guilt now that Dina and the rest of the Jackson County had to pay for their lives for the violence that occurred. The firefly symbol outside could symbolize the lie between Joel and Ellie, and at some point in this new game it came out, and Ellie confronted Joel about it. With Joel's lies catching up to him, it must mean the only way to make up to Ellie would be to help find these people responsible for Dina's death. Which explains why Joel isn't too harsh with Ellie when he reaches the house. Maybe with this new threat from these people it will help Joel and Ellie once again mend the bond they had all those years ago? This now leaves me with the raincoat people. Going back to the second teaser we got last year, it shows the same people in raincoats dragging a woman off to be hanged, and like the others, they were about to gut her open. The one in command pulls out a knife, and just as she's about to cut her open, she says,
"They are nested with sin."
She's then cut off with two other men dragging another woman, whose name is Yara, into the scene. The woman with the knife then asks her where the other apostate is. When she doesn't answer, she has her men clip Yara's wings. Then another person named Lev, supposedly the other apostate, and Yara's brother, comes to save her. Yara tells Lev to cut the hanging woman down, but Lev hesitates as she is one of them. The teaser ends with the infected coming at them. There's a lot of speculation that the mystery hanging woman is Ellie's mother. Now, from what Marlene told us, her mother was gone, and Ellie was left under the care of Marlene. And seeing how it's the same raincoat people from the new E3 trailer, we can safely assume that this is in the past. But this doesn't discount the fact that this woman still could be Ellie's mother, Anna. In The Last of Us, when we get to play as Ellie, where she searches for food for an injured Joel, there is a letter in her bag which reads, "Ellie, I'm going to share a secret with you. I'm not a big fan of kids and I hate babies. And yet, I'm staring at you and I'm just awestruck. You're not even a day old and holding you is the most incredible thing I've done in my life. A life that is about to get cut a little short. Marlene will look after you. There's no one in this world I trust more than her. When the time comes, she will tell you all about me. Don't give her too much of a hard time. Try not to be stubborn as me. I'm not going to lie, this is a pretty messed up world. It won't be easy. The thing you always have to remember is that life is worth living. Find your purpose and fight for it. I see so much strength in you. I know you'll turn out to be the woman you're meant to be. Forever, your loving mother, Anna." Make me proud, Ellie. It's hard to decipher if it's still plausible that Anna is still alive. But in this letter she wrote to Ellie, she was expecting to die. But from what? From being bit? Or because someone was after her? Remember that the only thing Ellie told Joel about her parents was the same thing that's happened to everyone else's parents. Maybe Anna didn't die. Maybe she's this mystery woman, but had to leave for the safety of her daughter and friends. And maybe she got caught up with the wrong people and had no way out. Which is how she ended up here. Maybe she had a price to pay and owed these people, which is why she couldn't escape? Going back to the raincoat people, the way that the woman with the knife talked sounded like this group was some sort of cult. And as I said earlier, the apocalypse is a horrible place. It's even fucked up to the point where people like this have the freedom to do as they please. Now, from what I saw on the Last of Us wiki page, apparently this lady's name is Emily, and she is a member of this cult called the Seraphite. And surprise, surprise, is a religious one. Apparently their mission is to wipe away all the sin in the world, which explains why she told that mystery buff lady she's nested with sin. Now, I don't know exactly what their definition of sin is, but whatever it is, Dina or someone within Jackson County must have done it to cause them to attack. Going back to the E3 trailer, when Ellie is creeping around in the grass, there's a large mirror of a woman, holding her hands out outward with a message written under her saying, "May she guide you." It's safe to assume this isn't their hideout, only a place where they sacrifice those of sin, like the bald man with the pickaxe said. Since there's not much I can go on with the Seraphites, I'm going to make some interpretations of what they could represent and what they could mean as a cult group. Seraphite, as we know, is a mineral, part of the chlorite group. It's often a green color, and is used in multiple ways. As a color, it can represent the life force of birth and development. Green can represent something of a higher purpose, and it can also represent something of enlightenment. On a religious standpoint, the Seraphite was actually named after the biblical seraphs, or seraphim angels. The seraphs had a different interpretation depending on which religion was telling it. A seraph was typically a celestial or heavenly being in Christian, Judaism, and Islam, Within the Christian angelic hierarchy, Seraphim is the highest, while in Jewish angelic hierarchy, it's the 5th. In another interpretation, they were described as the fiery serpent sent by God to inflict on the people as a penalty for sin, which explains a lot in context of The Last of Us. Whoever the Seraphites are, we know for sure they are dangerous people who shouldn't be dealt with lightly. It was said by Naughty Dog that this Last of Us game is about revenge. Neil Druckmann said in an interview, the story that they wrote this time is big with hopeful moments, to contrast the overall theme, which is revenge and hate. It was also said that this story will have an authentic arc that will grow and change the characters. We should be terrified of Ellie, not because she can kill, but because she's able to go far enough to get revenge she believes is the right thing to do. A line in Sean James's Through the Valley says, "I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil because I'm blind to it all." Then it continues with another saying, "But I can't walk on the path of the right because I'm wrong." Ellie is wrong, and she knows it. When you're blinded by hate, by anger, and ultimately by grief, you do stupid things. You do irrational things to make it better for yourself, and Ellie is doing exactly that. Killing the Seraphite won't bring Dina back. It won't save anyone else from their killings, nor will it stop Ellie from being in pain. If anything, it just causes more. But this is the only way she believes is the right way to deal with it. Obviously, Ellie can't just forget about these people because it's pretty clear that they're coming after her and Joel no matter what. But I believe this is where the authentic character growth will come. With Ellie learning to accept that death happens, it's mysterious and majority of the time it's unfair. She was seen as the hope of everyone in the first game, and some of that anger could be harbored because she was unable to be that hope when Joel took it away from her all those years ago. If anything, maybe her hope will return. We were told this game needed to be a story worth telling, that it needed to be a story worthy of Joel and Ellie. This game is meant to be about human relationships. The bond that Joel and Ellie had in the first one will impact them differently this time. All I hope for is that Joel will be the one who will help find hope and bring peace to her, kind of in a similar way Ellie did for Joel. Ellie was able to become a daughter to him after he lost his own. And as selfish as it was sacrificing the greater good for Ellie, it ultimately helped him survive this cruel world. Maybe the truth from the lie can ease Ellie in some way and help her on the right path again. At the end of the day, Ellie's just a lost girl who needs help. She fears being alone, losing the ones she loves, and wants to stop, but it can't. I know this game is going to break me like the first one did, so I expect something beautiful and heartbreaking to come out of it. But we're going to have to wait and see what it will bring.
I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
None of that is on you.
Oh, you don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And you... No matter what, you keep finding something to fight for.
If you guys enjoyed this video and would like more videos like this, consider supporting the channel on Patreon. That's patreon.com/justthenoob. If you guys have any comments or own theories of yourself or what The Last of Us 2 will be, I would love to hear it in the comments. Also, if you would like more analysis videos for The Last of Us Part 2, let me know. I would love to make more reviews because The Last of Us is one of my favorite games. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you know when I upload the next theory video. Bye!